Unpause this. Crap. I had the recording paused. So all of that bit is not recorded. I apologize. Just realized that. Okay, so I'm going to come in. I've added that little bit of the rust color in there, and I'm just adding a few little dots of this purple, which I know probably looks like a whole lobby mess. Grab some of that back up. And then as we get around this side over here, where it's more shadow, I'm going to put that, a lot more of that. I can even pull that down in if I grab a little royal blue and mix in a little of that quinacridone violet to make slightly darker violet. I can pull in, and that looks like a lot of paint. It was. It's a little too dark. I'm going to wash my brush out, and just with that paint that I put down, I'm going to darken this side of the face of this. So I want that to start to look like it's got some volume to it.
And you used royal blue?
Yeah, I used royal blue and quinacridone violet, but if you don't have those, just a medium purple with a nice blue like cobalt blue or a Prussian blue or indigo, any of those would be nice. A little bit more dark to that little spot there. And a lot of this isn't really in the photo. I'm kind of making up these little divots of dark right there, but I felt like it kind of needed a couple little spots there of that dark. I also need to, I've got this sort of plateau area here that I need to highlight. And then I can go back up into this area. So I'm going to take that same mixture of blue and violet and come in and soften this thing that I've got going on there quite a bit. Pull that across. So that'll start to look like a separate, where it's flat, and then it'll start rising back up. Just going to pull that across. A completely clean my brush out and now soften this stuff up to peacock blue. Get enough water in my brush. There we go. Soften that just a skosh more. And then there's this weird little dip, you know, like pointy spot that I want to smooth out just a bit. So I've got that, and then there's technically another one up in this area. I'm not going to worry about it too much. It's mostly just I'm going to make a little bit of a shadowy bit that goes across. Kind of adds volume again to these lighter shapes. But it kind of looks like it's doing that. That's just a little more peacock blue on top of that violet. Just to knock that back a little bit more. Smooth out there. There's a weird bump right there. Probably should wait till that dries. I'll let that dry real quick and then I'll fix that a little bit better. But it's starting to give that impression of rounded hills. Let me, now that this is drying a little bit, let me pick up some of that, smooth that. I don't want a line, I want a really nice transition right there. Just pick some of that up. Yeah, just kind of gives that impression. Let me dry this really quick. Now I can fix that spot that I kind of screwed up there. I'm going to grab a little bit more blue than quinacridone violet now. So it's a darker blue-gray, and I'm going to come in and fix that. And if it's still a little soft, a little wet right there, that's okay to get that kind of fuzzy edge. That doesn't bother me too much. Pull that up in there. So yeah, I've added just a little bit of a plateau right there. That little bleed thing. It didn't bother me, but it happened because I knew I could fix it. I didn't really want it on there. Okay. So now that I've taken care of some of those things that were bugging me, I want to get back to this kind of middle ground area and deal with that. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is lay in some of this house. Just so it's not this glaring big giant blob of white. So this side I know is going to be in light. I do need to kind of fix this base area. This is not really, had a weird little angle there. Just kind of fix that. I'll throw a little, that's just permanent yellow deep that I threw in there. With that perspective. Try that real quick. So I really, like I said before, I really like that, and I'm going to pull up that picture just really quickly so you can see what I'm talking about. I really like this blue. That's almost like a peacock blue or a royal blue. Well, cobalt blue, really, and some violet, and then how it's got this reflected light in there. I really like that. So I'm going to try and kind of recreate that. And then I don't know if I'm going to throw in a little porch. That looks overly complicated. I may just, I don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. So this side of it is just going to be light. And then I've got a little bit of a different roof and a chimney than what's here, but I'm gonna use those colors as inspiration. So the first thing, what's that?
Cobalt, you said cobalt blue and violet?
Yeah, cobalt blue or peacock blue, any of those two would probably be a nice.
Okay.
And I'm going to use a little violet, but I'm not going to mix the two together really. What I'm going to do is come in, I'm going to use a little of the peacock blue just because I like it. But you could use cobalt blue. I'm going to come in and just do a little bit of that in here. Pull that in. Like so. And then I'm going to come in with that violet that's mixed with, in fact, you could mix it with cobalt blue or peacock blue. But you're going to want very little violet and a lot more of the blue. So it's a grayer or a more blue. Let's see if I can pull this off. Kind of a purpley blue, but I'm also, just because I'm going to drop a little opera in there just to really give us some pinks. It'll all blend in here in a minute, but that gave me just a little bit of pink. And then, so I've got that. So it's peacock blue and then some quinacridone violet mixed with peacock blue. But if you're going to use cobalt, that's fine. And then I dropped in a little opera. And I'm just going to plop that in there. Maybe there's, because it's getting some reflection off of some grass or something. It's a little bit lighter. Over here, I'm going to pull it in a little bit darker. This side, so that's a little royal blue that I've got here. It's going to come in, and you can see I'm just sort of letting that bleed over into that other color. That makes sense to everybody? A little bit more blue. So it's not, there's not going to be a lot of detail on that. Later, I'll put in a door. I may even add some shadows from the eaves because there's a little bit of darker area, perhaps. But I do need to dry that before I kind of. And the thing is, like with this, it's not a very dark, so I can always push it even darker if I feel like I need to later. So I don't have to, I don't want to go too dark too quickly. Also, I'm not too worried about the fact that there's a little bit more, you know, this is a weird angle. Maybe that's a little bush or something that's in front of it. I don't really have to define that. I don't really need to worry about that. So let's see. In order to believe that this tree is a little further down, while this is drying a little bit more, I'm going to pull this tree forward a bit just by bringing the bottom of the tree down. Mine's not quite low enough on the paper to feel like it's in front of, you know, it's this direction from the house. It's closer to us. So I'm going to use a little permanent yellow lemon mixed with a little bit of permanent permanent green #1 over here, because I need this whole tree to kind of come down a little bit. So I'm going to come over here and start with that. Pull it down, and then I can start working in some permanent green 2. Allowing that to kind of blend in up here. Let me just add some water up here so it blends in and looks like it's all one. But you can see as I bring this down, it starts to look like it's in front of this house, just by bringing it lower on the paper.
You said add green, permanent green 2?
Yeah, I'm using permanent green #2 right now. It may look a little darker than that, or it may actually look like hooker's green, but it's permanent green #2 that I'm adding to this. And as I get down here, I'm just kind of thinking, okay, I want this to look brushy and grassy at the bottom, like there's a lot of stuff in front of this tree, so we can't really see the trunk. It's just this kind of jaggedy, wispy shape. But now I've brought that tree down. I think I will switch to a little hooker's green now. Over here, I brought that tree down quite a bit, so it's now feels like it's in front of the house, so that when I pull a shadow off of this tree, it'll come over here and this house won't be shadow at all. Here. Volume change there. Yeah. So yeah, that looks like it's much closer to us than it was before. Yeah. So now I'm going to go in and add a little bit of, front facade to this house. Maybe over here I'll just have a window or something. I want to keep this fairly bright, but I don't want it white. Even though on that, in the photo the house is white, I want to warm it up a little bit with some yellows and oranges. So I'm going to use a little permanent green No, permanent green. Permanent yellow deep. Clean off a spot on my palette. Permanent. There we go. Permanent yellow deep. And I'm just going to come in with a little. Ooh, that's too little. Water. With a little bit of that, which is basically what I have here. And then I'm going to use a little opera as I get closer to the bottom of this, down in this area. I don't mind if it blends in a little bit to the grass there or something, but just pull that across. Permanent yellow deep. And the opera. See, that's drying. Let's see. I'm going to add just a touch of Scarlet Lake down there. Get enough water in my brush. This is going to look very similar to the opera and stuff, but it'll be slightly redder. Now we just for another kind of hue. Yeah, okay. A little bit more opera. It's a little hard to tell on the screen, but that's fairly pink right in there, and then that Scarlet Lake, and then up into the permanent yellow deep, that orangey yellow. Okay, well that's drying. I want to work over here a little bit. I need to start defining some of this brushy stuff down in here. And I need to start looking at things that will cast a shadow across my road. And I need to start working on the road a little bit, because right now it's just kind of there. But not much of anything. So I'm going to come in with a little hooker's green mixed with royal blue. It's going to be fairly thin, so it's going to be very watery at first. I want to kind of ease into this, and I need to start looking at kind of shapes down in there. So I want to really highlight that I want to push this section forward a bit more. As you can see, I started kind of doing that last week, but I didn't want to go too far. There's a little of the hooker's green. Royal blue mix in there. And then now I'm going to switch to a little royal blue quinacridone violet mix. I've got some reds over here. I'm just gonna start throwing that in here. Again, I'm kind of using the tip of my brush. Let's see if I can focus. I'm going to use the tip of my brush, and I'm kind of bending it just ever so slightly against the paper.
What color was that?
This is quinacridone violet and royal blue. But again, you can use any nice dark blue, indigo, whatever. I'm basically just pushing this back just a bit and then fuzzing it out. Let's come back in with some of that blue-green mix that I had over here. And maybe back into this purple, violet, royal blue mix. Just kind of pushing these light areas just slightly darker. When this dries, it'll be much lighter than it is. Continue on, maybe I go into just some permanent quinacridone magenta over here. And as I get over here, I can kind of just fuzz that out. And up in here, I'm going to add, where I just was picking some up, I'm going to add a little of that rusty color that I mixed up, which was burnt sienna and pyrrole orange, but it could be burnt sienna and any orange or lighter orange, just to kind of get a color variation up in there. Cover that. And basically, I'm pushing that whole section back in space. In a little while, we'll do some more stuff to where I build up some shapes and stuff in there. But right now, it's mostly about just knocking this whole bit back in space. Let's switch over here to a little quinacridone violet, just pure quinacridone violet. Then what I can do over here, because that blue is dry, I can make a little bit of a shadow coming off of the house. So I'm going to use a little of that blue-green mix that I made. Royal blue and hooker's green. And then probably some of the quinacridone magenta and royal blue. I mean quinacridone violet and royal blue. Sorry. And I'm going to start off with this, the green mix. Just kind of pull that off. The house is going to kind of come out here. I'm not going to really mimic that shape of the house. I'm just going to kind of decide the direction it's going. So I just switched from the green mix to the purple mix. Kind of comes out maybe something like that.
Is this a shadow?
Yeah, this is a shadow coming off of the house. So it's a cast shadow from the house. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I found myself trying to make it bushes.
No. It's basically just a flat shadow coming off the. I mean, I made it kind of jaggedy.
Uh-huh.
Let me go in for a close up. I made it look a little, for lack of a better word, jaggedy, because it's not on a flat surface, but essentially that's just a cast shadow from the house. And it's going to go out about there. Maybe I need to clean that edge up just a skosh, but essentially that's the cast shadow from the house, and it's just going to start helping to flatten that length, that area out. Add just a wee bit of a edge to this road with that same kind of purple, green, blue mix. I'm really just kind of giving myself just a hint of a shadow from the, whatever. Later we'll add some other stuff. And I want to start to hint at some of the ruts in the road. So I'm going to grab a little more quinacridone violet in my brush and just give myself a few little ruts. This will start helping to flatten the road out as well. Just go through those. Later, these will some of this will get covered up by shadow, and then I can go back in and lift some of it back out. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to start adding some of those to this. So I kind of try it out first, just by moving my hand, kind of to mimic the kind of direction I want to go. I'm going to just kind of lay on, just using the side of my brush. I don't have quite enough water in my brush, but that's okay to have a little bit of, that dry brush kind of look, because it's, there's rocks in this road. Maybe this one comes off like that. Another little bit of a rut kind of thing going off of there. These are all just kind of made up in my head. Maybe somebody came off of this, little steeper angle. There's a few little, maybe somebody was using a dirt bike or something, who knows. Just kind of laying in some rut shapes, lines. I was using purple. I kind of switched to that green. It won't really matter later. Just adding a little bit of variation. I can even switch in a little peacock blue. A few spots. Just for variation. And this will all get softened once I add shadows. So there I've got, and that starts to help flatten that road out too. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to come in with a little quinacridone gold and burnt sienna kind of mix. I want a slightly brighter burnt sienna, than pure. So if I throw a little quinacridone gold in there, I get kind of another kind of rusty color. I'm just going to kind of start to enhance this edge of the road. I don't really want it to be a line, so I put down a line of paint. I'm going to kind of fuzz it out. I just want a little more dark, rusty color over there. I could even throw in a little violet over in here. On top of that, while it's wet, that pushes that down and flattens it out here as well. Just a little bit of that. Just so I get more variation in color. That's that quinacridone. No, that's burnt sienna mixed with the pyro orange. There, just a little bit more of that rusty red. Yeah, that dry. So now I can go back in. I'm going to add, even though there's not really another shadow here, I want to kind of show that this eave overhangs the edge of the house just a bit. So I'm going to come in with a little of my blue-green mix, and in this case, it's going to be more blue than anything. And I'm just going to add a little bit of a shadow that's coming off of there, just to help push the wall back a little bit more. And even though technically you probably wouldn't see this, it just kind of is a nice visual thing to help push that back. So I've got that in there. Let it down, straighten it up just a skosh. And I can always go in. I feel like, and I do feel like that's a little bit dark. I can lift it just by putting it. There we go. Just a little bit of lift with the rag. So it knocks it back just a bit. It's not quite as dark. Same with on this side. I want a little bit of an overhang from the roof. So I'm going to go in with a little quinacridone violet down in here. And again, that'll just help push that wall back just a skosh. Not a lot, you know, if this was a closer look at this house, I might have gone in with a bunch of other colors in that shadow, but for this, it just doesn't really need it. Same with the little chimney. I started to say chimney like my dad does, being from the South. I don't know why he says, well, he just pronounces it with an L in there. I'm gonna put a little shadow on the side of my chimney. That's gonna be a little quinacridone violet and blue mix. And I don't need a lot, just a tiny little hint at that chimney. That's right there. And I'm going to ever so slightly with a fairly clean brush just pull a tiny bit of that across the hint at the roof line. And I don't know, it doesn't look like you guys can see what I did, but whoa, zoom in, you can kind of see now how I just took that line just ever so slightly right across there. So I have a little bit of a shadow on the chimney. That's really all I need. I am going to do something to the roof so it's not just stark white. And I do have this little blob of yellow that I don't care for right here. So we'll just soften that up. And it's gone. There we go. If I wanted, this chimney shadow could be just a bit darker to echo, you know, to sort of match the darkness of the cast shadow from the house. Maybe the chimney just a skosh darker. There we go. That I like better. And now I'm just going to add a wee bit of a you know, peacock blue, very, very light or not light, well, very light and very thin wash of peacock blue. And if I get a little bit too much on, like I know I'm going to, I'm just going to add a little bit of blue in there. That's probably too much, so I'll clean my brush out and just really thin that out with water. So it knocks it back just a bit. I can even go in, I'm going to go in with a little opera just for some color variation. So it kind of looks like maybe a metal roof or something, but not rusty in this case. I don't know why. I mean, it could be rusty. I could do that later, but for now, I just want it to be fairly simple. I am going to add a dark door to this house and a window. So I have that blue-green mix that's mostly blue. I'm going to add just a bit of quinacridone violet to it, darken it up, make it more of a dark neutral. Maybe there's a couple of windows here.
What color are you using?
It's that blue, green, so it's royal blue, hooker's green, and quinacridone violet kind of mixed together to make it really dark. So there I've got a window. Maybe there's two windows. I don't really care about making them perfect windows. I'll leave a little bit of maybe there's some sort of, let's come down a little further. Maybe there's some sort of reflection in them so you don't see all of them. There's a couple of windows. Maybe a door right here. And another little window over here. Again, these don't have to be perfect. It's kind of hinting at something there. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow line to the edge of the roof. Just needed to be a little bit darker than that. Cast shadow. There we go. I don't know. That's a little hard. Maybe a little hard to see. Basically, I just went in and added just a wee bit more dark along a line there to kind of clean that up just a skosh. I can even add just a wee bit, just kind of highlight that just along there. But you can see when I zoom in, it's really very simple, not too much detail. Any questions so far? No? All right, I'll keep going.
He gets tons of questions when it's live.
What's that?
I said you get tons of questions when it's live.
Yeah.
I should say in person.
I'm having a hard time keeping up.
Am I going too fast?
I don't know, just for me, but everybody else probably keeping up.
Oh, I may be going too fast. I do that sometimes. I just get cranking along, and that was a weird shape that I just kind of fixed there. I have to run to the bathroom really quick, So why don't I take just a 2-minute break, and you guys can kind of try and catch up if you're behind.
Is anybody else having a hard time keeping up, or is it just me?
No, I am too.
But I know that I can come back and look at it later, so I'm not too worried.
It's like I have taken out my color on my roof. My shadows have left. I don't have all my grass done.
Yeah.
I have my hair dryer and I don't. I thought so.
So has anybody been doing any other painting, like from the Let's Make Art and stuff?
I've
I
listened
have been.
to it. I love it.
Yep.
Absolutely love it.
Good.
Yep, it's been fun.
My daughter from Minnesota and I are trading back and forth doing them and sharing them, which is
Oh,
really
fun.
nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, it's especially cool since she had distanced herself from me for quite a while. So it's nice to have her back.
Oh, that's wonderful. Hearts soften with time, thank goodness.
Yeah, I hope so.
Heck, I've got a brush strand on the phone.
I don't think Michael got to send it along to you, but there was another Tom Lynch tutorial that was on either Artorama or Cheap Joe's, one of those two.
Really? Cheap Joe's, I saw that. My efforts here lately have been getting my garden in.
Well, that's a good effort.
Yeah, my green beans are up, my corn is up. I took a chance and planted early.
That's
Kathy
awesome.
came and helped.
Lamar did?
Kathy Lamar.
I knew it had to be a joke. Who did you say helped you?
Kathy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, Kathy Lamar. It's like, come look at my garden. I hate gardening. I didn't have to do it. Just come look.
Yeah, it's a family thing.
Yes, it is. Brent's not that way, is he, Dylan? Dylan must have escaped.
I think she's muted.
Nope, I'm here. I was muted.
Oh,
Brent's been actually helping. We've got our garden in, and it's looking decent. So
good.
I think he's got time on his hands that he doesn't normally have. I'm still stuck on my mountains.
That's
Okay.
been the
Freeze.
biggest
It's
challenge
going
to
to
me.
freeze Thursday night.
There's what?
Oh, Mike's, that's the
It's going to freeze Thursday night.
line I drained out.
That's what I know. We got to cover everything. Yeah.
Thursday night, it's gonna freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
North of Aztec,
It's supposed-
definitely.
90 freeze yesterday.
Well, I've got some tarps I can slap down on them. I've
Supposed
paint
supposed to go down to 32 tonight.
Wow.
What?
What?
Dang it.
No, tonight it's the low. Sunrise is 46 in the morning. It's Wednesday morning. That will be 33, 32. Yeah, I may be crying. It's good that art's going to be over, so you guys don't have to
I
shed
have to hear you crying.
out.
I just have to catch up. I'm like, oh.
All right. Well, is everybody
Caught up.
well to a point where they want me to start painting again? If not, I can wait a little bit longer.
Yeah. No, keep painting.
Okay. Where was I? Oh, we had just finished the little house.
Are you taping this?
Recording
Is
it?
it on recording? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I am. The first maybe 5-10 minutes, I forgot to hit unpause.
Okay.
So there's a
So it's not showing. Normally on mine it says recording, but I didn't see it, so I was just wondering.
Oh yeah, no, it's recording.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I like having the footage, and I actually like to go back and watch, because then I get little hints at things that maybe I can improve on. It's like watching game tape. Okay. So I really need to start. I've kind of worked this road a little bit. I really need to start looking at shapes in here that I can have shadows come off of, so I can push this further back even more. I mean, this is starting to do that, but I really want to give it the sense that there's a drop off there. So I'm going to come in with some fairly dark darks now, and this is kind of that green blue mixture. Start off with, so it's royal blue and hooker's green. And I'm going to, I think I'm going to have like a little bit of a shadow shape down in here that's going to be even darker than this purple. And it's going to kind of connect up. Maybe there's another little bit. We'll have some dark shapes come off over here. Save that little bit of whatever that is. Again, just and I'm kind of, I mean, I know that there's some shadows in this general area on the photo, but I'm kind of making this up because I'm past looking really at the photo for anything other than just a little suggestion here and there. Now I'm mostly relying on, let's see, I want that. Mostly relying on, the painting to kind of inform how, let's see, how I want these shapes to look. Got little dark up in here. Before some of this dries too much, I want to go in and soften some of these edges. Those there. Some of that even on this side too. Maybe it's just fuzzy shape. Pick some of that back up. Where this dries up too much, let me add a little bit more so I can but I'm gonna blend out this side as well. This upper portion. There. Just feathering it out. Switch it up to a little, as I get over in here, it's a little more pink and red. So I'm gonna switch it to a little bit of that quinacridone violet and royal blue mix that I have. Just bring that in. This will be shape. Didn't like that shape, so let me start over. Soften part of it over here. Top bit gets a little softer. Now I can start to pull that shadow. I'm going to pull a little bit of shadow over here across this road. So I'm going to use a little of the that quinacridone violet because the road's kind of purpley. But I'm also going to throw in a couple of, maybe a little peacock blue or something. So I'm just going to, let's see.
Will you mix the purple and the blue, or?
Yeah, it's peacock, or it's royal blue and the quinacridone violet that I'm using right now.
Oh, okay.
And I just want, there's this little bit of a shadow going across the road here to kind of help push this road. Hopefully it's going to push this. It's going to push this part of the road up and forward and that part of the road down and back. So I've got this shadow that kind of goes across and then disappears behind that hill. And then I've got another shadow. I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to cross the road here. So just kind of paying attention to where I have some of those lines. So I've made, a couple little bumpy areas that look like ruts and across. A little more dark in here. I let that get a little light, so I need to add some of this shadow back in over here. Wherever it's casting it. It doesn't really matter. It's just shadow, and it helps. Let's see. Keen on that one. A little bit there. That shape's a little weird. Shadow into the road there. And here in a little bit, once this is dry, I can go back in and lift some lights out of that. So there's some light getting caught in the ruts and whatnot. Let's do this shadow here. And then I'm going to have some shadow coming off of this tree as well. So that's going to be really dark. And I'm going to use that green royal blue, Hooker's green royal blue mix. Indigo and Hooker's green would work. Any of those kinds of. So I want this to really come across, and this is pretty dark. Got blue in there just for some. All the way underneath there, this, in my world, the tree, branches are real low to the ground and the brush underneath, so. There. Then I'm going to hit that road again, so I'm going to go back into a little violet, quinacridone violet and blue here. I feel like this needs a little bit more of the green, so I'm going to add a little of that to this shadow going across the road. I need I want to smooth that out just a skosh. A little dark to that shadow. Well, just going to round off this edge just a bit by letting that dark bleed. Let me see if I can zoom in on that really quick. I'm going to let that dark bleed ever so slightly down. Now, right now it looks really dark, but I can come back in, really clean brush, just kind of clean some of that back up. But it gives a bit of a rounded edge to this hillside on the road. And it just gives it a slightly softer look, which I can go in and if it's too soft, I can go back in and add a little bit of sharper edge to it just by doing that. I sort of soften that edge up a bit. Now, right now, yeah, see, it's still not, I made that a little too soft, so I'm going to let that dry and then go back in and sharpen it up. But I wanted that bit of a rounded edge to it. And when I go back in and lift some lights out of the road back in there, I'll be in pretty good shape as well, I think. Okay. Just make sure I'm real happy with that. Okay. Some of this has gotten a little bit light over here. I want to darken it ever so slightly. over here, down in here, just a wee bit more. So I'm switching off between the green mix and the purple mix. A bit more dark. And back up. All right, and I need to go in and kind of deal with some of this tree area as well. Part of what's bothering me is that these trees here are the same value as that yellowy grassy stuff in front. So, and I need to separate them from this tree, this larger tree, by pushing them back with some darks. So this is that green-blue mix, Hooker's Green, Royal Blue. Kind of going in, thinking about the shape of the bushes in front, and the shape of the trees. Let's see, maybe there's another little bit of shadow up here. And really all this is doing is just adding volume to this piece and pushing them back just a skosh in space. Starting to push this tree forward also. I feel like I lifted a little too much right in there. Yeah. These kind of need a little bit more in a few spots. Use a little bit more darker darks. I could go in with just some indigo, in fact, in a few spots. Add some real dark areas. Merge in and sort of get a lost edge there where it meets up with this other line of trees. Just have a wee bit more really dark back down in here. Some good shapes in there. More of that indigo here. Now, this is still bugging me right there. So I need to go in and that purple mix and just add some shapes that are bluff-like. I think it's a little bit too big as well. Just gonna kind of go in and knock bits of it. Just breaking up that shape so I have kind of cliff shapes. Very similar to what we did with that very first, the rock painting that we did.
What color did you use to do that? Was it a blue?
It's actually the violet, the quinacridone violet blue mixed. So it's very blue violet
Okay.
because it's got, I think, a little bit more blue in it than violet. And then blend it down into this. Yeah. That's working for me, I think. How's everybody doing? You need time to catch up again, or I haven't done a huge amount. So I'm just going back in and kind of fixing up some of these shadows, making some darker than they were. With that green blue, it's Hooker's green, royal blue, or indigo, whatever. Mix and just just going in and see this being a little bit more dark there, kind of cast shadow bit, not quite that dark. And down in here needs to be a little bit darker to help push this stuff forward even more. All right, this is dried, so I'm going to come back in and kind of clean that line up a little bit now. I want it soft, but not soft, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go on, and I wanted that little bit of darker, so it looks like it's bending forward. But now I need to go back in and clean that line up, that edge up just a wee bit. Kind of peters out. do feel like I need just a hint of. So I'm going to use a little burnt sienna just down in here. I want to deal with the edge of this road just a skosh and push this group of brushy things.
You said you're using burnt sienna?
Yes.
Okay.
So just by putting a little in, lifting it back up a little bit, where I got a little bit carried away, but it's ever so slightly darker than the bushes in front. Change that shape, I'm not super crazy about it. So it reads as darker than those bushes in front, pushes those bushes forward. Oh, excuse me. Okay, let me use a little bit of that over here too. Kind of break up the shape. Just kind of making scribbly shapes over here on the edge of the road, just to kind of break up the straight line. Still that burnt sienna. Do a little bit over here as well, just kind of. That up just a little bit.
So do that on both sides.
Yeah, I'm doing it on both sides just to help kind of make that straight line a little less straight looking. So it's more, you know, it just looks like weeds and grass and stuff on the edge of the rocks and whatever. It just has a imperfect line, if you will. Right there. A little water drop I was fixing. Don't worry about that. I just have to. Should have just let it dry, but I did not. Kind of blend it in. Let's dry this really quick. All right, I think I want, even though there's not really one in the photo, I kind of want a shadow kind of going across this as well to help define some of this. I'm going to switch to a slightly larger, well, I'm going to go to my number 10 brush. And I'm going to, and it doesn't matter what, maybe there's a tree over here, you know, maybe there's a big giant boulder. It doesn't really matter. I just feel like I need kind of a dark right down here. So I'm just going to kind of bring in this dark. That's the green blue mix. I am going to drop in a little get it a little opera. I didn't get it. It was mostly water. A little opera down in there just for a little switch up and change. And then I'm going to start pulling this across the road. So I'm going to switch to a little, I'm going to take some burnt sienna and mix it with that purple mix. So it gets sort of a purpley brown. Kind of.
The purple blue mix?
Yeah, I added a little burnt sienna to that purple blue mix. Although I need more paint. So I've got a lot of water, not a lot of paint. Oh. Although it's still going to read like a shadow there.
Is that a drop of opera you put over there on the side of the hill?
Yeah, right there.
No, all the way on the other side of the picture.
Oh, yeah, that's a mistake.
No,
It just dropped. I didn't realize that it dropped.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah. Nope, that was a mistake. It just dropped off my. I got a whole slew of fluid crap up in my sky too. Now I am gonna do a little opera down in here on purpose. Up there in the bush, it was not on purpose. Just again, just to change up in color. And let's see, use a little quinacridone gold mixed with burnt sienna over in here. Maybe back over here again. And as we come up, over here, let's green, purple. Let's see. Quinacridone violet. Here. And then as I come up, I want to kind of angle this a little bit different. And pull this shadow up there. There's another smaller shadow of some sort coming off of something. Not going to go all the way across the road, maybe. This shadow is going to take over this whole area there. Just because. And come back up in there. I don't know what these shadows are from. Doesn't matter. I just felt like they needed to be in here to help sell the road. Have a little peacock blue. Now I just switched in and grabbed a little more of that quinacridone gold burnt sienna mix. Drop that down in there. I'm not sure I'm super crazy about what I've got going on here, but always lift some of that back out. Soften that shadow over here. Yeah. Getting okay with this. Basically, I'm just kind of switching it up. Now I'm going to go back to a little violet because I feel like this needs to be just a skosh darker in here. So that's that dark blue and quinacridone violet mix. A little bit more that's even darker. Let that kind of bleed into that burnt sienna stuff there. Back into some opera. Yeah, I think this does need to go all the way across. I'm going to kind of bring it in there, up that just a skosh. Up. Switch to some peacock over here. Get it to kind of blend in. There. That's starting to look okay. Let me dry this because the next thing I want to do is start lifting out some of the ruts and stuff in the road. Yeah. All right. That's dry. I'm going to come in and lift some of this now where I have some of these ruts. So I'm going to come in with just a clean brush, just water, and I'm going to put one right in there and right there.
And you're using which color?
Just water.
Color?
Just water.
Oh, that's right. You just said that. Sorry.
Yeah, just water. So
Clear, Nolene, clear color.
Yeah, thank you. How do I buy that?
You don't have to. It's free out of the tap.
I don't know. I pay a bill every month. I don't know.
Yeah, not free. Okay, so I've got that on there. I think mostly that's softened some spots up. I think I've let it sit enough. Just blot it up again. So it starts to pull those ruts out. Now, some of them are a little weird shaped, and I'm not crazy about them, but that's okay. Oops, dropped my brush in the water. Let's see, I'm gonna have another one that kind of comes off this way. There we go. Radically. And even though like some of those shapes are a little too big, it's okay because I can go back in and start adding darks again. This one I feel like needs to come all the way up. And I can do the same down here. I can add a few little streaks. I'm going to do one or so at a time down there because I don't want them to get too involved. Bring that into there. Just into one here maybe. And again, if these get too wide, excuse me, I can go back in and thin them down with, make them thinner with some paint. Like that one's way too thick. But I can now go in and add a little bit more. What is that? That's kind of purple green color, hard to replicate because it kind of did its own thing. But I'll just pull that in there. And I've now thinned that down a little bit. This one I want to change the shape. And maybe this one that I started in the light continues with a darker line when it gets. So I lifted it in the dark shape and I painted it on in the dark or in the light shape. Never really cared for that one, so let's go back in. And now up in here, let's deal with some of that. So I've got a little opera. I want to thicken this line, or thin this line, I should say. I don't want it quite as thick as it is. Same here. Let's just go in and fish. Over here, it's starting to get into the darker colors. So I put some opera down, and now I'm dropping in a little of that violet blue mix inside the opera to make its own kind of purpley color. Let's see. Over here, just a wee bit more of this green on there. And clean my brush and come back in with a little bit more opera here. Just so we get a hint of light catching on something. Back over here on the left side, I can add a little more purple. Clean that up a bit. It's gonna work. Let's see. Oh,
What's that?
I don't know.
bit of a shadow in there. Clean some of that up. But within a rut there. Here. So just kind of cleaning some of those up. I need this to go out a little further. Same with this one. That. Kind of clean that up. Can't really decide if, let's see, is that a wee bit of, can't really decide if, let's see, if my road is looking like it dips down enough. So what I'm going to do is actually move this edge of the road over just a bit to where I've got that so that it comes in kind of where that line of light is. And then I want to make it a little thinner here as well. I'm going to add a wee bit of a thing going on there. And then come back in with some greens on top of that brown right there. Just so I have a change in color from the road. And I think that will help my road start to feel more like it's down the hill a little bit. And if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. You know, if it doesn't quite achieve that that illusion, I'm okay with it just being a road. I think I probably should have angled it more, but that's okay. Yeah. Let's see, maybe if I bring this down a bit more for a rut, right? You know, like get enough paint. So first green, oil blue. If I bring this shadow down just a bit into this rut here, and a bit more here, help my situation. Just to kind of give it if that helped or not. Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. It still doesn't quite read like that, but I'm okay with that. Now that I made that one a little darker, I need to make this one. Kind of starting to read a little bit like what I want it to. A little bit of that green blue mix in there. Before I was just using mostly Hooker's green mix. Yeah, not too terrible. Yeah, so now I do feel like maybe this, I like this large grass blade thing, whatever this was coming up, but I think it's a little bit too large, too long. So I'm just gonna thin it and shorten it. Same with some of these others. Maybe they need to be shorter than you need to be there. These are perfect little triangles that I want to get rid of and stuff like that. So just a little cleanup there. That was way too big and too caught my eye too much. It's a little better. Let's see. I think I need some more shadow kind of down in here. Maybe not quite so dark as I have right in here, but nonetheless. Adding a little bit more just kind of help these look like maybe they're going downhill a little bit more too. Now this shape over here is really bugging me. So I'm actually just going to, well, and it has a little, it needs to have a little green on it anyway. I'm just going to paint this kind of green blue wash over that. So some of that, yellowy stuff comes through. But I just need to knock that back just a bit. And then as I get down close to this shrub stuff, I need it to be even a little bit darker. And part of this will get covered up with that blue spray that I like to do. But so it'll get knocked back even further here in a little while. Go. And then this line right here, I really need to, let me switch to a bigger brush. I really need to soften that. I don't like that transition to the edge of the paper there. Just by lifting some of that back up. Dang it. Did we lose it? No. Okay, good. My dad was trying to call me. Sorry if that. I don't know if anything weird happened there with the video feed. But I think it's okay. Um, all right. I can sit there and kind of piddle around with that a lot. So now I'm going to paint the sky. Ooh. All right, so painting the sky. I'm going to get this nice and wet. Now, if you guys wanted to, you could do that gradiated wash from the top of, from the, well, let me get this so you can see what I'm pointing at. Since this is upside down, from the top of the painting, you would paint it the other way, but you do just a gradient sky like it kind of looks like in the photo. So you'd start off with the dark, and then you'd go, you'd do one line of the really, really dark, and then the further down you go, it's just clean water. So you clean out your brush between each pass. I'm not going to do that on this one, but you definitely could. This would be a good candidate for that. I've got too much gunk that got on my paper from being sloppy. So I'm going to not do that on this one. Definitely could. So right now I'm just getting my paper wet where I want the paint to go. Okay. I'm going to start off with a little peacock blue. I want some fair amount over here to kind of cover my sins of the being sloppy. And
What size brush is that?
that's a 1-inch flat.
It's okay.
1-inch flat. I don't know why I said 2-inch flat.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't tell you that I switched to that.
And what color blue?
This is peacock blue, but you can use like a cobalt blue or whatever. It's just a nice bright blue. Cat's meowing at me. Patches. Got a fair amount of where I want it. I'm going to do the cloud thing, so I'm going to have some Kleenex here. I think that maybe the worst of the toilet paper shortage is over. They had a whole bunch at Sam's Club when I went for my dad the other day. Which had been like that since February. I could be wrong, who knows. All right, so pick up some of that. Grab a few Kleenexes over here. I got about 4 or 5 Kleenexes here. And again, I'm just making that, cloud shape. And I think I want it to kind of come in like so. And I'm going to flip it around so I don't have any blue paint down on the Kleenex and pick it up there. More there. Some of this backward. Again. All right, so I've got, I think, a pretty good, where, area of darks and, or not darks, of blue and white. Let me go back to my round brush here. Pick up some of this excess. And I'm going to start adding in more blue where I kind of think it needs to be. Kind of like this shape here. Probably could switch to a round brush. I think I probably should. In fact, I am going to switch to a number 10 round. You could do a number 8 round. It doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of sharpening up some of the edges on this. Like we've done before. I'll just kind of let this kind of come out like that. Maybe. See, I don't really like this bit that's coming up there, but I do like this bit down in here. I like this little hint of a shape right there. There's a bit of a cloud that goes there. Let's just pull that down into here. This feels like it needs to be softened again. So I'm going to add a whole slew of water. Let's see what happens. Same with here. I'm just going to kind of pick some of that back up. Really soften that edge. That I liked. Okay. So let's see. Down. A little clean bit of the Kleenex kind of come in there. Put that up. I'm rotating between putting paint down and cleaning my brush and drying it and lifting paint back up with the brush. Just by rolling the thirsty brush across where I've got a little bit too much. I don't mind that there's a wee bit of a shadow there. Let's see, I'm going to switch to a slightly smaller brush now. I'm going to go to the 8. I can come over here. Blue up in there. Get over here. I want to soften that. And it's just about having those lost and found edges. I've talked about that before. I don't want a perfect outline of all the clouds all the way around the cloud. You know, we don't want to paint this shape. Even like down here where I'm going to add a little bit more of this peacock blue, I'm going to then fuzz it out at the edge so I get it to feather out and form a soft edge. More dark up in here. Back out. Add a little water right in here. But I don't mind using the dirty, you know, the blue water. I have a lot of blue paint in my water bucket because that kind of gives me a wee bit of a shadow on that edge of the cloud. It's hard to see because there's a glare on it, so it looks bright white right there. But it's actually blue water. So, and I like the way that's kind of blossoming out right there because of the water. Let's see if I can't get this to soften and maybe do something similar. It may not, maybe too dry over here. Too dry, but that is okay. All right, let me flip this back around.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's starting to look pretty good. Now, I want I don't want these clouds to just be kind of flat, so I want to add some shadows down here on the bottom. So I'm going to go in with a little royal blue because it's a slightly grayer. And I have a little bit of the green blue mix that got in with it, so there's a wee bit of Hooker's green in there too. And it's going to look like I'm putting on too much, but bear with me. I'm going to come in and kind of put this on with the side of my brush, and it's almost a dry brush. It's a fairly wet brush, but it's almost a dry brush kind of technique that you see there. And I'm just kind of painting the underside shadows of these clouds. Careful where I get close to this. Kind of pull that up, and then I can clean my brush out and add a wee bit more water, and then soften this sort of side here, so it kind of pushes it back behind there a little bit more. go darker. Let me grab a little more royal blue and mix that in with a little indigo. Or I could use Prussian blue or something like that. Just add a wee bit more of that back up in there. How's everybody doing?
Okay, I'm trying to catch up on the clouds. What color are you using for your shading or your?
It's royal blue with a hint of, there's actually a little bit of Hooker's green, like a tiny bit of Hooker's green in it, because I had that royal blue Hooker's
Yeah.
green mix already next to it. So
Okay.
I pulled out royal blue and mixed it or made the puddle right next to my puddle of Hooker's green and royal blue. So it has just a hint of Hooker's green in it, but not a lot. Just to be a little bit darker down in here. So I cleaned out my brush and then I kind of squeezed out so I put some paint down and then I squeezed out most of the water. And I'm gonna just go in and kind of pick some of that back up that I put down there. And it gives it kind of a grainy look. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see how grainy that is right in there, where I've been using the side of my brush.
Yes.
So it just gives it a little texture. A little hard to see when when it's so far away, but you can kind of see it. So I need a little bit of that over here as well. And so I'm gonna come in with that blue, that royal blue, just hint of green in it. I have to be really careful right here, but then I'm just gonna kind of once I get that kind of down on the edge, I can pull it up into the cloud. So I'm just kind of I put that fairly straight edge along the clean edge. I shouldn't really say straight. That fairly clean edge along the top of the bluff there, and then I can kind of pull it up into these other cloud shapes. Really, all I'm doing is just kind of hinting at the bottom, and this is really with a fairly dry brush. Even when I pick up some paint stuff, it's still not that there's still not that much there's still not very much water in my brush, so I get this nice dry brush effect. And I'm using the side of my brush, much more like that against the paper. So if my finger's the paper, it's really down quite a bit against the edge. That if I wanted to, I could kind of get a little crazy and add a little purple in here. Maybe even a little opera to brighten up the purple. Maybe we're getting a little light reflecting off of some of the bottom of these clouds in the shadow areas. I like that little bit of change in color. grab some more of that. Put that down into here. There. Maybe I want a little of that over here too. That purple. Made with opera. And if you put something down you don't like, you can always lift it back up. So it's a good. I like experimenting in the skies. There. But I think it's a fun spot to kind of play around in and add different colors. And then up on top, I want to add a little bit of, I want to catch this kind of yellow light coming in. So I'll clean off a little spot on my palette again.
Oh, shit.
So I'm going to use Pyro Orange, but you could use like a really great one would be the Permanent Yellow Deep. If you have something similar to that, you know, kind of an orangey yellow would be really nice. I probably will end up using a little of that as well. So I'm going to start off with a little Pyro Orange, and it's going to be a fair amount of it, but then I'm going to go back in and lift some out. So I've got a pretty watery puddle of it, but it's still going to look like too much. And I'm going to add a little bit of a highlight just kind of here. And then maybe there's another little highlight kind of coming in here that's caught some bit of that. Something kind of coming in. So, and now that I've put that down and it looks like it's way too much, I'm going to clean my brush out and then really go back in with a fairly dry brush and kind of, actually I did it with a dry brush and then I decided to go back in with kind of a damp, clean brush and pick some of that up, spread it around a little bit. I placed it, but then all I've done is kind of pick it up and move it around. There's just a hint of that peach color in the clouds. And then I'm going to go in with I am going to use a little Permanent Yellow Deep and add a bit of a glow to some of these. So that we'll just go in with that Permanent Yellow Deep, pull that glow in. That's looking a little green on the screen. But. So again, looks like too much. Let's go in and pick some of it back up. These clouds kind of have a bit of a afternoon glow in them. I could even use a little of the Yellow Orange Deep in there if I wanted to. Gone overboard right here. That got a little weird right there, so I had to lift some of it back up. think part of the reason it got weird is because I was using water from one bucket that's very blue. I should have using water from the other bucket that's very clean. I like this glow right there. Pull that down into there. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's looking all right. This is a little weird right here. I feel like maybe the shadow needs to come out here more. Here quite a bit. Yeah, I think that's starting to look all right.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
This area here that I really like, just I happen to luck out.
I like your sky too.
Oh, I know.
A lot of it is luck. Some of it is practice.
So what you're saying is mine will be mud?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Mine is mud, so I'm simplifying.
Well, I started to get a little mud going on right there, and luckily I lifted it in time. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that.
It's like the sky, the way that light comes in, that accents all the light spots perfectly.
Thank you.
Oh,
Getting a weird line right there. Soften that real quick. I planned it that way. Actually, I a lot of times it's luck. It really-
Well, man alive, I love it.
Some of it is making your own luck, but a lot of times it is luck. All right. Well, it's aside from maybe throwing a few birds in the sky and doing the blue around the edge, I think this is pretty close to done. I'm still not sure that this really feels like it drops off as much as it does, but again, I think that might be in the way I drew it. I think I probably should have had a bit more of a, I should have started this section of the road just a wee bit higher and slanted it down more, and then probably slanted the light, this hill in the foreground even more than I did. So I think that's just the way I drew it. Not a big deal. I still like how it turned out. It doesn't quite have I may try this again to see if I can't. In fact, I know I probably will, because I'm always trying to get better at something. So this doesn't necessarily read the way I want it to, but overall, I'm fairly happy with the painting. And I probably will try it again, just to, and I encourage you guys to do that. Sometimes I do that. I'll do several of the same scene, working out issues. And none of them ever quite look the same. But, and that's good. That's a good thing. Probably could add just a wee bit more of this. Let me go in. I feel like this, I'm not getting quite the stepped bluff look that I want kind of in here. So I'm gonna darken some of this up just a bit. To give it that. I think that's still just a wee bit too bright right there. So that back. Add a few little lines to make it look like vertical cliff kind of stuff. Soften that back up a little bit. That kind of works a little bit better, I think. It just has that kind of stepped look that I was going for a little bit better. I mean, it doesn't necessarily look like the photo, but that's okay. If I wanted an exact representation, I'd just use the photo. Yeah. All right. So let's see. I must have turned my. Does anybody want to have me look at theirs?
Yes.
Let me get rid of the spotlight. And who said that?
I said it.
Oh, here we go. All right. So let me spotlight. Yeah, if you want to hold yours up, let me grab the. If I can get it to work. Come on. Let me take a screenshot of it really quick. Oh, I think that's let's see, capture. I think that's looking really nice.
Really nice.
Oh man, yeah.
I love how you brought your house in so big.
Yeah, that looks really, really nice. Let me find that. Where did it go? And Photoshop. What am I looking for? Share screen. Yeah, here we go. Share screen, desktop 2, share. All right. I think
Good.
this is, yeah,
It's
really, really nice. Gosh. My only thought is maybe, because, man, this is really quite a nice painting. My only thought is this section, and I'm going to, let me,
Yeah, that was my problem area also.
yeah, this whole area right here. I'm thinking I would go in with like if you want these trees to end here, well, I actually might bring, let's see. I might bring your road up just a bit more. So it
Okay.
makes a less sharp turn around this hill. And then you could bring these trees, like you could bring, let's see, this is the sort of top of this stuff here. Bring more of these trees in and make this, pretty dark. I'm doing a terrible job of doing this, but you get the idea.
Well, I'm painting on bigger paper than you paint on, and
Yeah.
it's a little troublesome to fill it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think if you take this same green that you've got, let me just do that. If you take this same green, give myself a bigger brush, and you kind of fill in with these greens, these light greens. So I'm just using straight up color, but then let me go in and sample some of this darker green that you've got. Let's see that. And I come in and world very wet. I got the wrong brush. There we go. And just use, that's way too dark, but you get the idea.
Yeah, just extend it.
Yeah, just extend that over, and it'll help. It'll help this stuff kind of push forward as well. You just pull some of that. I mean, I got this too dark because I was using black, but I also think maybe do a light, like quinacridone gold or whatever this color is right here. If you pull in some of that up in here to kind of help you with that road, and these pinks and purples that you've got, just kind of pull that in. And then this light, with the right tool, there you go. This light green, kind of pull some of that in here a little more. And you could even add some other colors like this rust stuff that you got going on here. Just kind of, whoa, that's not. You can kind of, what? Oh, that's not what I want. That's what I want. Just kind of like you did over in here, add some more color. I mean, I put way too much in there, but
yeah, okay.
If I add a little, maybe a little of this purple, just kind of add a little interest to that. And it knocks it back just a skosh, so it's not quite as bright as up here. I have done a terrible job of doing that, but just by not, adding a little bit more, okay, I need to get out of it. Add it, there we go. Add a little bit more of that. That's way too dark also, but you get the idea. Don't go that dark. Maybe, like as dark as some of these lighter areas here, until you get up next to this, and then you're going to want it. You just. Just add some texture and interest. To this area. That is terrible on my part, but you get the idea. Basically, take this kind of stuff just on up here a little smaller. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't think this really. I think just by pulling these trees over here, that really puts the focus on the house and the road.
Do you think the roof is too light?
No, I like the fact that it's kind of light. You could add a few, little streaks of some sort of dark in there if you wanted to.
Okay.
Just, kind of, that's a terrible.
Yeah, maybe some lateral. Yeah. I got
Yeah,
it.
just add a few of those. Since yours is bigger than mine, I think you can get away with it.
Okay.
All together, though, I think this is really nice. I like how you did, you brought this kind of around there. Yeah. See if I can't knock that back just a bit to give you a better idea. Probably that dark is what I'm thinking on some of this, Same as this stuff, but not quite.
Thanks.
Yeah. This looks great, though. Good job. Anybody else?
I would like to. This
Who was
is
that?
Nolene.
Oh, okay. There you are. For some reason, everybody's voice is sounding very similar to each other.
Well, this is not my best painting by far.
Well, that's okay.
It should be because it's the last one, but no. So, let's see. How can I hate my mountains. They even look worse on screen.
Pull it back just a skosh.
I like your house.
A little bit more kind of.
Yeah, I like my house.
Huh?
I like the house okay, but
Yeah. Pull
the
it.
mountains look terrible on screen. They look better in person. I'm just here to tell you.
Okay. Well, lift it up just a skosh higher. There you go. Right there. Got it. Let's see here. Come on. Well, it's angled weird, but you'll get the idea. I don't really I think so. Looking at this, I think what I would do is so that this wasn't quite this line right in, what am I looking for? There we go. This line right here.
Looks like a tent.
Yeah, so what I would do is I would come in and just soften that.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get it to, I would just fuzz that out, maybe. And then bring it across. Well, not really bring it across, but just kind of blur that line a little bit right here. I don't mind it being sharp because right here, you want it to be sharp because there's like a sharp edge on that rock. But as we get down here, it's a much more gradual, from here to here kind of thing. Let's see. And then I think.
She put those little lines on the bluffs, the light part. I bet that would help.
Oh, like adding little bits of.
Yeah.
It's actually not showing up, but they are there.
They're there, yeah.
Yeah, on the video really it looks a lot worse than it does in person. So,
I'm sure it does. Yeah.
The detail isn't showing. It just looks bad.
Yeah. I think this is really nice. This is nice. The tree is a little bit too pyramid shaped.
Looks like a.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
in my backyard.
kind of a triangle.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize that was so. Come on. Oh. Yeah. I don't know if, well, I mean, it's not a, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's fine. I think what I would do though is here, I would bring in, like I would kind of round this bottom part off just a wee bit.
Okay.
And that might help, makes it look a little bit more tree-ish.
Yeah.
And then I would add some darks. I mean, I'm accidentally using some purple here, but I would add some darks to push this tree forward and these trees back. And then you could even sharpen up some of this line of this shadow. I mean, I know that there's a couple of different things going on here, but I would just turn this whole thing here. This is a terrible drawing with a mouse, but I would just turn those all into trees.
Okay.
And then so you can have some darks down in here, kind of like what you did over here.
Yes. Okay.
And then other than that, I mean, I might, add a few more, like kind of break up this shape, this long triangle. You know, this is a long kind of.
Yeah, I do have some variations in it, but they're mild and they're not showing up either.
So I would add some more kind of, you know,
Darker greens.
Yeah, darker greens in a few areas to kind of break some of this up. I mean, again, I'm using this purple, so don't. Not that purple's bad in green, because it's actually complementary. It makes the green look that much more vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, just kind of break up some of this shape just to give it a little more, like you have several different bushes going on.
Yes.
Instead of one long triangular shape. And just kind of randomly pick some spots and break it up.
Okay.
Other than that, I think not too, I think it's looking pretty good. This might be a wee bit straight right there.
Uh-huh.
So I might dip a little bit right there. Maybe like there was a, or actually, I might dip, go back up and dip.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a rut.
It's movement in there from
there.
Yeah.
And then you could bring in some more of the, that'll help kind of flatten your road out a little bit by lifting, using a light, you know, just water and lifting back out.
I'm not a very good lifter. I try to lift out and it doesn't lift very good for me.
The trick is to let it sit there and really soften the paint. Then you blot it, and then you can scrub the paper really hard with your cloth rag. You can scrub it really hard.
Okay.
Really give it the business. Yeah. You could even, if you wanted to, you could even kind of cut this short so it's not quite as pointy, and just make that part of the road right there.
Yeah.
That might help a little bit on that, but really it's looking good. I think it's nice.
Thank you.
Good job.
I like it, Nolene.
Yeah.
Hey.
I think it's way better than what you think.
You think so?
Yeah.
I do.
I guess I better leave it overnight because I'm tempted to toss it.
Let it sit for a bit, then look at it, and I bet you'll end up liking it. If I don't like something, I'll do that. I'll let it sit. How do I get this?
But
And
don't toss it. Put it in the dryer. Just then you can go back and look at how you improved. That's what I do.
Yeah, well, I paint a lot of different things, and they usually turn out pretty good, but not this one.
Yeah.
Because it haven't been so hot.
Well, I struggle with this type of painting also, but I want to keep up with it so I can learn and improve. And then
Yeah.
it helps with everything else I'm doing.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think if you let it sit and just look at it for a while,
Okay.
you'll see things that you can go, oh, that's a little wonky, or this kind
Yeah.
of works, or
Yeah.
or
Okay.
yeah. So I always do that, even if I don't like a painting midway through. I'll kind of set it aside, look at it, kind of give it some time before I really commit to getting rid of it.
Yes. Yes.
or deciding to start over or whatever.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, very few times have I actually tossed something. When I have tossed something, it's because there's something wrong with the paper.
Oh, okay. It's the paper's fault.
Yep.
I knew.
Yep. Well, I do have some paper where, I don't know, something got on it, or it wasn't, either something got on it or it wasn't properly coated in the manufacturing process.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like there was enough of the sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever they use, whatever they do, the process of the surface treatment that they do on paper. It didn't feel like there was enough of that. So the cotton rag felt like it was sticking through. So the minute I put water down, it formed this big weird bruise on the paper. And that bruise never went away. I have a couple of paintings where I was able to turn that bruise into a cloud. But it really did look like a big bruise on the paper. So,
Wow.
So who's next? Anybody?
I would.
Who's that?
Me, Janie.
Oh, there you are. I don't know why. It's probably me. Why everybody's sounding the same. Let's see. So I'm getting a little bit of a fuzzy connection with you, but
yeah.
But I think there's enough there to kind of. I think that's really looking. I got a screen capture. You can set it down now if you want. I think that's really looking nice, though. Let me.
All the time.
Share screen.
Or that my internet connection's unstable.
Your internet connection's unstable. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was weird. There. So it's a little blurry, but I think Janie, overall, I think this is looking really nice. I'm
not happy with the sky. I want to redo the.
Yeah, I think you have some weird, let me not paint on the thing just in case I want to get rid of it. So I think you do have, that's a fairly straight line there. So I might see if I couldn't, lift some of that back out right in there and change the shape, lift that out.
Okay.
That'll kind of change that shape a little bit, and maybe even lift a little bit over here just to change that shape. Or if that doesn't work, what you can do is actually come in with a slightly darker. If you can't get it to lift, come in with this dark and change the shape. So come in, and now I'm painting dark around up here in that area. So then I'll feather that out.
Right.
That change. See, even though that's darker, that automatically changed the shape. So it's no longer just that straight line down there. Just by pulling in that dark, like the what is that right there? Like a royal blue or cobalt or indigo?
It was cobalt that I used.
Yeah, you could use a little of that, maybe some indigo kind of mixed in all up in here, and then just kind of, and then to be honest, I think I would get rid of this whole section and just make that a dark.
Okay.
I think that's pulling your eye away from the, and so if I think if, yeah, see if we just cover that up, it kind of stops pulling your eye. So I think I would just paint, I would just kind of go over that whole thing with some dark. You can, it doesn't have to be 100% dark like what I've done there. If I go in,
Right.
you know, it can be slightly transparent so you see some of that cloud behind it, but it's just knocked back a bit just by putting it over it. You know, just by putting a little bit of a wash over it, then you knock that cloud back, and I think it'll be less problematic. You also have kind of a little triangle here. So what I might do, let me go back to 100%. What I might do is pull this dark up into there. And get rid of a bit of light. So you kind of change that shape so it's no longer a triangle.
Gotcha.
And I don't know, I might try to lift some of this dark out. So if I go back to that, if I and change this shape, maybe lift some of that out. I don't know if you can, but if you lighten that, change that shape just a skosh. It's not going to be as light as this white that I just painted in there.
Yeah, I really screwed it up. I tried to do some dry brushing on some of the clouds, and I don't know. I don't know whether I can lift the whole sky out and just kind of start over. I know it won't go pure white, but.
Well, I don't even know that you need to lift the whole sky out. I think you just need to kind of lift that little corner out. And there may still be some that shows up, you know, kind of like what I've got here. But just kind of soften that point that you had going on right here. You had another little point right there. I would just soften that, you know, right in here.
Okay.
I don't really think this is that. I think you're doing better than you think you are. I'm gonna just, you know, I would maybe soften. I wouldn't maybe have all this be a sharp edge. Some of this may even be sharp.
Right.
So I'm kind of blurring it there a little bit. But that just helps kind of get rid of that. And maybe like this, I think honestly that little bit of the bluff there, I think I would take that same real dark and just soften that, bring it down at a kind of an angle.
Oh, okay.
More of it. I think it's a little too sharp, and I think if you just brought it down at an angle, kind of like that.
Yeah.
That'll. I think that straight line combined with this little pyramid here, and you have a bit of a line there too, but that suddenly that line kind of goes away and you don't see it as much just by softening this out and bringing this down at a kind of a more gradual slope. And you see, I kind of did several little, I came down and then I kind of flattened it out, came down, flattened, then came down to, you know, kind of draw that out. I think this looks really nice though, Janie.
Thank you. It was better than my first two attempts, that's for sure.
Some of this where you lifted these in here, you could even thin some of those down if they're if they feel a little too heavy.
Where are you? I don't see the curtain.
let me get a little arrow. I'm down here in your road.
Uh-huh.
So these lifting areas are a little bit thick. So I would go back in with that brown and just thin them down just a bit so that
Okay.
and then continue them with paint up above. And maybe even add a few more where you lift. You know, add another one coming in like that. Or,
Okay.
like, oops, that's kind of a terrible line that I drew there. You know, like that. So add just a few kind of, and you know, because people don't drive the same direction on a dirt road, they're not all in the same spot.
Right.
We'll get some of these kinds of crossed bits. So there's another one that comes in like so. You know, get a few more of those in there.
Okay.
Flatten that road out. Otherwise, I think it's looking phenomenal.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate your feedback.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Stop. Anybody else?
I don't know.
No?
I want you.
Have you been golfing since they opened up the golf course?
I
No.
went to last week. I'm not here in Farmington.
Oh,
Yeah.
You don't want to show me yours?
Okay. Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Let me switch the camera.
Before you get
oh, I like that.
That's really
Michael, I'm gonna shut down. I'm almost out of juice on my computer.
okay. Well, we'll see you later. And you know, you can always call
Yes.
me if you have questions.
All right.
Got
Thank
it.
you. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, Janie.
Bye. Janie, I'm going to go with you.
Bye, Janie.
Michael,
Yeah, you can set it down. I've got a good shot.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
thank you for a great class. I'm going to leave too. And
Oh,
bye,
okay.
everybody.
I'm going to leave too.
Bye.
Thanks for a great class. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it this way too.
Oh, good. Good deal.
So we'll see you at the next class.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
I enjoyed doing it this way also.
Well, it's
The-
kind of nice to have the playback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something you miss, and the
Yeah.
color combinations is what I always have trouble with because I don't have the real colors. I bought a just the generic kit at Walmart, and
Right.
I do have some special colors that I purchased since then.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but I think this is looking really nice.
Was that mine? Okay,
Yeah, this is yours.
it does look different on the computer.
Well, it's because you feel like you're stepped back from it a little bit. I think when you step back and look at it, you can start to really kind of see things a little bit better.
Well, this is my second one. So on the second one, I put chamisos instead of the greenery.
Uh-huh.
Because I had bought the color for the chamiso, so I thought I'm going to try it because I haven't used it yet.
Okay.
So the Davies Gray,
Oh, okay.
I bought that, so that's why I went ahead and used the chamisos this time. So I'm missing that dark color down there, so I tried to border it with dark. But anyway, I don't know. My house wasn't big enough. Couldn't put in the window.
Down in here. That's okay. It's a small cabin. Yours is a small little cabin.
Okay. The great.
What's that?
I said because it has a great big tree beside it.
Yeah. It's a giant.
I kind of had the same problem.
My thought is I might I might bring this dark that you've got here. Whoa. Let me get the right, there we go. Get the right tool. I might bring this down even further and kind of a little bit straighter. I mean, maybe not quite as straight as I've got it, but
Okay.
because it really, and technically, I might see. I don't know that you'll be able to, so you may not be able to, but I might see if you could lift out some of this area in here.
I see.
So you don't quite outline the tree as much. So that really feels like it flows into this whole plane back there.
Yeah, I thought about that after it happened.
That's okay. I mean, if you can't, just kind of lift it a little bit. And if it doesn't go totally away, it's okay.
Okay.
And then maybe make, let's see. Maybe make this, maybe just kind of make that a little more gradual. Kind of like that.
Yeah, up and
Yeah.
okay. All right.
I don't think it'll take much to kind of do that.
Right.
Let's see. This is looking really nice. I really like what you've got going here. I think my only problem with it is it's just a little bright. So what I might do is take a really wide. Let me see if I can find the right thing here. A really wide, flat. I'm looking in the wrong spot. Here. Really wide. You know, like your inch brush or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to give me the preview. Let's see. How do I show? Yeah, doesn't matter. And then I might just paint a really. Here we go. Let's see. Where is? Let's go back to like there. I might paint. Whoa, that is way too much. Let's see here. How do I? I'm having a brain fart and I can't think of how. First of all, that is way too big. So let's just knock that down a bit. Oh, still getting. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. So just a really thin, watery wash of this dark here. Let me capture that. Of this, you know, like this blue. Just go in and mostly water.
Uh-huh.
But a thick brush and just kind of knock that. See how I'm just knocking that back just a skosh?
Okay.
Because it's really nice. That may be a little bit too much. Let me try one.
You're saying with the same not burnt sienna, but the ripe sienna? That's what I used.
No, this blue. What did you use for this blue right here?
Okay. Okay. It's a mixture, indigo.
You
Yeah.
can even just get, you know, pull it off of your
I see.
your palette, whatever you've got there, and just kind of go in. Yeah, that's still a little.
And show that it's further away, you're saying.
Yeah. Basically, because right now it's really nice, but it's fighting with whether it's in front or behind this, and you want to push it back just a bit, like that. Okay. And that will push it back in space just a bit. It still looks really nice, but you'll just have a real watery blue over the top of it.
Okay.
And it'll push it back just a skosh.
Okay.
And even though this is in front, I would do a similar wash over all of this just because it's so close to the edge,
Okay.
so that it doesn't pull your eye away. Because even though it's a little darker now, you can tell because this line comes down that it's in front of all this. So it's not going to be fighting with that. It's just going to not pull your eye over to the edge so much.
Okay. Yeah.
And then let's see. I think I might, whoops, I gotta switch brushes again. Let's see. I might just make this line right here a little straighter. Right
I can't see which one. I don't see your cursor.
right here.
Straighter.
Yeah, let me see how
Vertical.
you have it at this angle right here. I would come in,
I make it
in there
more-
and just make it more vertical.
Okay.
Kind of take off that little corner,
Okay.
and that'll make that feel like the point of a butte.
Yes. Okay. I have trouble blending.
Yeah. Well, that right there can be a little sharp. Here, the way this is soft is good.
Okay. Yeah, I tried really hard to blend that in, and some of my mountain went away. Some of the shading went away.
Oh yeah. No, I think it's looking really nice. I think just straighten that up just a little bit because it was looking a little too angled.
Okay.
Where it's like all these others are kind of straight. So
Yeah, I see that.
yeah.
All right.
I might add, you see how you have some of this stuff going on here? Let me get back to the arrow. You have this, like that looks kind of lonely right there.
I couldn't blend it in.
Yeah. I would just go in and instead of trying to necessarily paint grass,
Uh-huh.
I would just go in and paint, go in and paint random patches of, I would kind of go in and just do a whole another glaze and switch back and forth between, because like I like this rust color here. I would add more of that dark green and just change that shape up. Where am I? Take that in and just do a lighter, add some more, but do a lighter wash, that kind of pulls some of that out this way.
See that?
I'm not
Okay.
drawing very well with the mouse.
Yeah.
And then same with over here.
Those-
Mix it up and add a little
Okay.
rust, this rust color, in some areas. Pull that
Okay.
out. Again, I'm doing terrible with this mouse, but and you can mix it up, with some orange.
I get the idea.
Yeah, just kind of, or some yellows. Just do another glaze on top of this whole thing.
Okay.
So this won't look so lonely and so dark. Even if you add a few more darks like that in spots.
Okay.
Does that make sense? What I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
pull in a little more dark. Well, that maybe not there. Maybe up in here, pull a little more of that dark. Maybe kind of in some areas. Maybe
Okay.
pull that rust color. Because that's kind of straight. You've got kind of a straight line here. Pull some of that back down in there and over in here.
Add some more bushes, basically.
Yeah, basically just add some more. I think you stopped a little too soon on those.
Yeah. Well,
I think you have enough space there. You could add a whole slew more.
I sure will.
But I think this is really nice. The road is really lovely. Your little house, even though it's smaller than maybe you want, I think it's quite nice. Yeah, I think this is great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
good
thank
job.
you, Nicole, and thank you for the class. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, you're
And
welcome.
I don't know if I'll be back in the fall because of another commitment, but I will definitely be back.
Well, yeah.
So,
Well, hopefully we see you, but if not, maybe we'll see you in the spring.
okay. Yes. All right. And good night.
Bye. Good night. Anybody else real quick want me to?
Me.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get much done. Well, you can see it, but I tried to lighten. I'll hold it still in a minute. Let's see. I tried to lighten this, and I bled into my bluff there, and so then it got all.
Okay, I'll hold it still real quick.
And also, if
Wait.
you would tell me what I need to do right there. And I know right here, the shadow's gonna go over it and whatnot.
All right, hold it back up there. Up just a skosh more. Oh,
Right
too
there?
high. Well, that's good enough. There we go. All right.
Pause it, thank you, dear.
Share screen.
Oh, my house looks like a 5-year-old did it. Wow, I took out the windows a couple of times.
Oh, that's all right.
To see, I don't know if you can tell. Wow, that is really a blurry picture.
Yeah, it's a little. I think the internet connection was going a little wonky there.
Probably. Well, you can't see really any of the detail.
Yeah.
But where, let me show you here. Right here is where I goofed it up.
Right in here?
Yeah, and I kept trying to move, fix it, and the color was moving everywhere, and then it would get off and spread out, and I'd have a center, and
so I'm thinking, really, this isn't as bad as you think. I think you have a weird little point right there. So what I might do is, let's get the, what did I do? Mix. Let's try it now. Are you working? Let's just go with a brush tool. Whoa, that brush is way too big. Oh, I see what's going on. I might just soften this point there.
okay.
I think you've got a slightly different looking place than mine in
Yes.
yours. And that's okay, because then it doesn't look like the same place. This could be anywhere. What I might do is just, whoops, that's too big.
Yeah, I didn't do anything to my road, obviously.
Yeah, I might just make this a road that's one, that doesn't look, because the way you've got this, this isn't quite as steep as to make it feel like, I might just make this all one road. So I'd pull in ruts just
okay.
like this. I mean, mine didn't work out very successfully anyway, to make it look like there was that hump. So I might just make it, I might try that again myself and see. But I think, so get rid of this line that you've got here, just kind of fuzz that blend that out.
Okay.
I would add some more darks in your bushes here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was working towards, was lightening those and then going back in to add some dark.
Yeah. I don't know that. I think it's light enough. I think I would just go in and add. I mean, I'm doing a terrible job of drawing with my mouse, but
Well, that's when I was lifting out some of that dark color, and that's when I
yeah.
bled into my bluff, and then I had a mix.
Yeah, just kind of break it up.
Okay.
Really, I don't think this is looking that bad. Don't forget your shadow coming off your
Right.
house.
I'll take a picture of it and email it to you. And maybe you can advise me, tell me about my bluff, because you can't.
I mean, you could even bring shadows, across here. Like, I don't know. This is a terrible shadow, but fill that whole area in. Well, I'm on the same layer, so I'm screwing this up. But you follow me.
Yep, I do.
Fill that all in with shadow. Add another don't forget the shadow coming off this bunch of trees here. More like that coming in there. Just add a few more shadows coming across the road to kind of help flatten it out. All of that will help flatten the road out and then lead you back into space as well. And then, once you have those darks in, you can go back in and lift back out, some lights through them.
Okay.
Just to, kind of help.
Okay.
Do those again. Yeah. No, I really think you're on the right track.
Well, thanks. I'm going to take a picture of your notes real quick.
Oh, okay.
Get my finger out of the way.
Terrible mouse drawing.
Well, and I want to send you a picture where you could see that spot, and then maybe you could just text me about if that looks okay, or because I have like a bloom in the middle of it, and I keep trying to make it.
Oh, up in here?
Yeah, and a little to the left too. Right there. Yeah.
Right there. I can kind of see that light area. All I would do is let that dry 100% and then go back in with some dark over at the top of it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. And
You're
we'll
welcome.
see you in August if we don't run into you in town.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Town ever opens up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cool.
I haven't been downtown since.
Like February or January?
Close to finishing it.
Are they? No. There's another month and a half probably. So towards the end of June, they'll be done.
Well, good.
Yeah. Anybody else? Tommy? Jesse? Want to share yours?
I'm good. You fixed me up.
Oh, that's right. We already looked at yours. Jesse, do you want me to look at yours?
Oh, and don't forget to send us your finished picture, please, Michael.
Yeah, I'll make sure that I do that as soon as
Okay.
Jesse, did you want me to look at yours, or are you good? I think your micro. Oh, there you go.
There it is. No, I'm good. I don't need to do anything tonight.
Okay. Well, it's been fun. Hope to see you guys again in the spring or in the fall. If not,
It has,
Thanks,
it has been. I've
Michael.
enjoyed it.
oh, you're welcome. Yeah, thank you.
New experience.
See you guys later.
We'll see y'all.
All right.
Alrighty, bye.